Hi everyone, this is Mr. Che. Just wanting to put a video together for this week's final. I'm just going to go over the pre-assessment. So here we go. And I'm going to share my screen with you. All right, so the first second. All right, so the first question is, sorry, this is a 4z. So it should be a 4x squared plus 19x plus 12 equals 0. And you have to determine which of these methods you want to use for these three equations. For this one, I look at this and there's two terms. Most likely I'll have to factor. So let's factor that one out. So I'll take out a 3 and be 4x squared minus 25. And notice that this is the difference of squares. So it'll be 3 and then 2x minus 5 and 2x plus 5. So just be careful, be aware of just the different factoring methods that you may have to apply, all right? This one here, looking at the two terms here, I most likely will probably complete the square. So if I have 3x squared plus 6x, I'm going to add the 5 to the other side. And then I'm going to take out the 3 and leave some space here. And I'm going to divide this b by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. Square it, that'll be 1. If I add 1 here, I have to multiply this 1 times the 3. I'm going to add the 3 on this side. And once I do that, it becomes 3 and then x plus 1 to the second power equals 8. Then you divide by 3 to both sides. And so what ends up happening is x plus 1 is equal to 8 over, so x plus 1 squared is equal to 8 over 3. Square root, both sides. So that will equal x plus 1 is equal to plus or minus radical 8 over 3. And then you subtract the 1 here. So x is equal to negative 1 plus or minus radical 8 over 3. All right. Okay. It also did tell you to solve. So these are the solutions here. For this one here, make sure you make the 2x minus 5 equal to 0, and the 2x plus 5 is equal to 0. So it will be x is equal to plus or minus 5 over 2. And the last one, it will be the quadratic formula. So it will again be 4x squared plus 19x plus 12 is equal to 0. A is equal to 4. B is equal to 19. C is equal to 12. I will give you the quadratic formula if you need it. B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. So it'll be negative and 19 plus or minus the square root of 19 squared minus 4 times 12 all over 2 times 4. So this will be negative 19 plus or minus 19 squared, I believe, is 361, but let me double check. 19 times 19, 361 minus 16 times 12, 192 all over 8. So 4 times 4 is 16 times 12. That's how we got the 192. 2 times 4 is 8. So negative 19 plus or minus. So 361 minus 192 is equal to 169 all over 8. The square root of 169 is 13. So negative 19 plus or minus 13 over 8. So it'll be negative 19 plus 13 over 8, and negative 19 minus 13 over 8. This is negative 6 over 8, which is negative 3 over 4. This is negative 32 over 8, which is 4. Negative 4. So these are your two answers. Okay. All right. Number 2 is convert the following equation and put it in vertex form. So remember you have to complete the square. So it'll be, so y equals 6x squared minus 24x plus 1. I mentioned this before, but I like to subtract the 1 to the other side. So it'll be y minus 1 is equal to 6x squared minus 24x. Factor out the 6. And then so 4 divided by 2 is 2. Square it will be 4. So I'm going to add, so 4 times 6, which is 24. So it'll be y plus 23 is equal to 6, and then x minus 2 squared. Subtract the 23. You get y is equal to 6, x minus 2 squared minus 23. So that's your equation in vertex form. Then you have the graph. So you would graph, it would be 2, negative 23. So 1, 2, and then just spot out this right here. 2, negative 23. You may want to plug in some numbers. So like 1 or 0, 0, like this is 0. 0. 0 minus 2. So yeah, plug in some numbers. Plug in 0, plug in 1. I think that should be fine because the 0 x value of 0. So here's the vertex right here, right at 2. So whatever you get for 1, you'll get the same y value for 3. And whatever you get for 0, you'll get the same y value as 4. So you just have to plug in 0 and 1 in the situation. So y is equal to 6, and then 1 minus 2 squared minus 23. So y is equal to 6, and then negative 1 squared minus 23. This is 1, 6 times 1 minus 23. So that will be 6 minus 23, which would be negative 17. So at 1, negative 17, and at 3, negative 17. And you plug in 0, y is equal to, I guess plugging in 0 into the standard form would be much better, because you could just make sure it equals 1. Positive 1, right? So your parabola will look something like this. And then the 4 value will also be at 1. Right? So yeah, I plugged in the 0. If you're confused about that, I plugged in the 0 into the standard form. You can plug in numbers in either form because they're essentially the same thing. So if I plug in 0 here, I plug in 0 here, that cancels everything out. So it'll be 0, right? And then plus 1. That's how I got the 1 right there. So the coordinates I got were 0, 1, 4, and 1, right? How did I get 4, 1? Because here is the vertex right here. Whatever y value I get 2 on the left, I'm going to also get 2 on the right, okay? Because it's symmetrical, okay? So, yeah, that's that, all right? Axis symmetry is just a line, the vertical line going down the middle. So it is, remember, this is a x equals 2. Make sure you write the whole equation, right? And the solutions, you would have to do the quadratic formula for that. You could also just point out that these are the solutions right here, right? Yeah, right? Yeah, maybe just do the quadratic formula. I don't want to do that right now because I'm kind of running out of time, right? Number 3. Number 3 is you want to list out all the possible x. You're just trying to get the zeros first, right? To establish yourself, to establish where the graph is going to hit the x-axis. And you do that by getting factors of 40. All right. So factors of 40 are 1, 2, not 3, 4, 5, not 6, not 7, 8, 9, not 9, 10, 20, and 40. And if I'm you, I would start with the lower numbers, okay? You notice that, if I do 1, and I plug in these numbers 1, 3, negative 18, and negative 40, it's 1. 1 times 1 is 1, so it'll be 4. Before negative 14 and negative 14, and this is going to be a remainder of 54. So we know that 1 is not a root, all right? Again, you're just, and by the way, these are all plus or minuses, so you're trying to figure out what the roots are. Let's go with -2, -2, and then the same thing, 1, 3, -18, and -40. Be 1, -2, 1, -2, -20, +40, and now we know that this is 0. So you can factor this out, x squared plus x minus 20. So then factor it out to get the last two roots, because this is coming from this equation right here. So that'll be -20 and 1, be 5 and -4. Because 5 times -4 is -20. 5 plus -4 is 1. So it'll be x plus 5, x minus 4. So x is equal to -5 and x is equal to 4. So our three roots are -2, -2, -5, and 4. Okay, so let's graph these. Okay, so I'm going to skip every other. So this is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. This is +1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so -2 is a root. -5 is a root. And 4 is a root. And notice that this is a odd function. So you're going to go up on the right and down on the left because it's positive as well. And then what you're going to do is we're going to plug in numbers. We're going to plug in numbers such as -4, -3, maybe -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. All right. You're going to notice that you plug in negative. Let's see here. You plug in -4. You plug in -4, I believe it is. So plug in -4, you plug in these numbers. I can't really read my writing on the thing, but 16. So let's plug in -4 into this. So plug in -4. Where's my plug in -4? It will be -4 cubed plus 3 times -4 squared minus 18 times -4 minus 40. This is -64. This is 16 times 3, which is 48. Plus 18 times 4, 72 minus 40. The -64 plus 40 is -16 plus 72. So 72 minus 16 minus 40 is 16. So -4 and 16. And then -3, if you plug in -3, it'll be -14. Right? You go down to 0. 0 will be -40. Right? And then 2 will be -56. And you come back up here. Right? As you can see, my next class is starting, so I'll record the next part later on.